Check 1, 2, 3. What's up, cannabis community? I'm Brent Green, and this is your cannabis news. What's up out there, everybody in the cannabis sphere? How y'all doing today? Out there in Twitch land. What's up, J Blue Tape? How you doing, man? Hope you're driving safely. Hope all's going well out there. Much love to you, my guy. Um, yeah, so we got cannabis news going down right now, and I am. It's gonna be chill today. That's why I didn't play any music. But we definitely gonna honor in our own way the full moon today. Okay. Alrighty. So let me know what's up with y'all out there. How y'all doing? How's everything? How's the world treating y'all? How's life treating you? Everything good? Everybody good? Everybody feeling loved and nourished, cared for, and all those things. I hope that y'all are feeling all those energies. Anyway, so today we're going to do the docket that I should have done 3 weeks ago. So this docket's a little old and it has a few little updates in it and everything. So yeah. Sorry, I keep looking at my screen or that my eyes aren't on the camera, but hey. Yeah, I'm a little nervous today for some reason. I think it's because it's been so long since I've done cannabis news and I had to do some switching around and things like that. But hey, your boy is here. Your boy is here today, and let's get to the news. Let's get to it. So our first story comes courtesy of SF Gate. And as you can see there, the headline says there's a hidden canyon, or hidden in a canyon, an enormous, in quotes, marijuana grow is discovered in Death Valley. As you can see, this article was from May 1st. It says, tucked away in a remote canyon, park rangers in Death Valley National Park stumbled across a massive, illegal, in quotes, marijuana grow. The 40-acre grow was found in Jail County. I can't make this shit up, man. This shit just literally said the 40-acre grow was found in Jail County, a rarely visited canyon on the western side of the Panamint Mountains, the National Park Service said in a news release. The area is near the border between California and Nevada. While California legalized, in quotes, marijuana in 2016, it remains prohibited on federal lands. It's not known who was cultivating the spot, but a park spokesperson told National Parks Traveler that rangers flew over the area to photograph the extent and to hopefully encourage the growers to abandon the site. Y'all, I just don't see growers abandoning grow sites unless somebody ends up going to jail. Crack me up. I know. I crack me up. But anyways, let's get back to this article. The illegal grow is one of hundreds that authorities have found in Death Valley over the last decade, officials said. In quotes, marijuana grow sites can damage or destroy parts of the national park. Chemicals used in pesticides, clearing of protected lands, and diverting water resources can all cause irreparable destruction. The Park Service said in a statement that illegal, in quotes, marijuana growers have also been known to threaten hikers who inadvertently came across their crops. And here's a quote here. The national and cultural resources in these areas are irreplaceable and invaluable. Damaging them for profit shows incredible disrespect to our homeland. Barbara Durham, traditional historic preservation officer for the Timbisha Shoshone tribe, said in a statement. The Timbisha Shoshone tribe's reservation is within the park. National Parks Traveler reported Jail County is closed while rangers survey the area. Y'all. Now our indigenous brothers and sisters are out here asking y'all to stop trashing the national forest Okay, so yeah, so stop it, stop it, stop it. Anyways, um, let's see. Our next article comes courtesy of the San Diego Tribune. And as you can see there, the headline says the San Diego may loosen cannabis rules to help minorities, so-called minorities, gain a piece of the lucrative industry. Industry. Um, says the city is analyzing its laws, tax rate, while developing a cannabis equity program. San Diego is launching a comprehensive analysis of its laws governing cannabis businesses to see how they could be loosened to allow more, in quotes, minorities and low-income residents to become part of the lucrative industry. City officials say changes may include lifting a cap on the number of dispensaries, allowing on-site consumption lounges, and softening rules that don't allow cannabis businesses near schools, churches, or other, in quotes, sensitive receptors. Another possible change is ending a requirement that deliveries come from dispensaries with retail storefronts, which would broaden access to the industry by shirking startup costs for low-income people. City officials say they also will consider lowering taxes on indoor cannabis farms and factories that make edible cannabis products, a move that would spur more of those businesses to open locally. City council members expressed support for potentially loosening the rules and lowering taxes during a meeting last month of the council's Land Use and Housing Committee. Opponents of cannabis legalization said loosening the rules will be catering to drug dealers, contending that San Diego residents aren't asking for such changes and don't want them. San Diego, you have been historically racist, okay? So of course they don't want that. They don't want it there. What's up? Hey, what's up, Ray J? Thanks for following, Ray J. Uh, what's up, Lone Wolf 69? Almond Joy, what's up, buddy? We out here doing it. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for joining us. We are on this story regarding San Diego. So, what I was gonna say was that San Diego has a history of being conservative and racist. I'm surprised they even let cannabis in their town, city, whatever the crap to begin with. So, yeah. Let's get on to the next story there. So our next story, I gotta disable my ad blocker. Give me a second there. Okay. So Whitmer, Alabama can't kick its, in quotes, marijuana problem. This article comes courtesy of AL.com. Okay, I'm presuming that's courtesy of Alabama.com. Yeah, be sure to tip the guy. Be sure to buy the merch, tip the guy, or however you can help. Okay, send biddies, send weed, whatever. Anyways, here I'm adjusting my screen so that my eyes will be a little more even with my camera. Shout out to you, J Blue Tape, man. Shout out to you, my guy. Always. Um, and I hope you're having a great trip. All right, so This is an opinion column. It says here, let's get this part out of the way. I've smoked pot before, although it has been a while. I learned three things. First, I didn't really like it. It made me giggle for a bit, and music sounded more interesting, but mostly I would get impatient waiting for it to wear off. Second, I could see how it would help sick people, especially someone on chemotherapy who might be struggling to eat. Don't smoke pot if you're trying to lose weight. Third and finally, in this part, I want to scream, no one should go to jail for this ever. But in places like Alabama, motherfuckers been going to jail for since the beginning of time, particularly POCs, black people. You dig? But I'll get on with the article. I've had way more regrets after a night of heavy drinking than I ever did trying weed. And while the drug affects people differently, this part of the experience seems to be universal. It doesn't make you do crazy stuff. It doesn't break your brain. It's certainly not addictive like nicotine, the inexplicably legal drug I wish I never tried. Same here, man. Same here. Fearmongers would have you believe the drug is a gateway into heavier, more dangerous substances. I'm just going to end this right here. So this is one of them articles. Yeah, Jay, don't send money. Y'all send weed, or excuse me, don't send weed, send money. Yeah, send money. Yeah, your boy. Yeah, man, I just got out of treatment, 2 rounds of treatment. I need all the money I can get. But back to this article, I wanted to highlight that this is one of those articles from these areas where people are not getting the exposure that they need. And these are the kind of articles that are written in oppressive environments now that the rest of the cannabis world is starting to open up. They're trying for redemption, sort of like what happened with Oklahoma, right? But it's still just as oppressive. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Oklahoma and the redemption and the progress that they've made, but yet again, when you go to these places and you hear these people talk, just like when in this article, the way that the writer is talking about cannabis in here, it's like baby cakes. You understand? It's like somebody who just got let out the house. You dig? If I'm making any sense, let me know if I'm making any sense there. Anyways, so our next story comes courtesy of Denver 7. So it says New Mexico, or the headline states, oh man, you know what, y'all? Excuse me. I forgot something. Yeah, I forgot to hit y'all with the stinger. Anyways, yeah, Forrest Gump did try weed, man. So did my granny. It took her whole life to try weed. It took her to get colon cancer to try weed, and then finally she started smoking weed and became an advocate. But before that, all she had to say about cannabis was that it'll make you what she say, it'll make you kill people, do crazy stuff. Any of that sound familiar to y'all? Alrighty. So here, I'm just gonna play this video for y'all. Let's see what they talking about. So for whatever reason, I can't get this video to work. So the headline says New Mexico, in quotes, marijuana legalization could hurt Colorado's cannabis industry. Y'all, Colorado's cannabis industry done had how many years now to grow? I don't think there's anything that could hurt it. But there are some things that could hurt it. Well, for whatever reason, man, this article is not loading. Here, I'll refresh my browser. All right, let's see what lie they trying to tell today on the news.
New Mexico is set to start selling recreational marijuana next year. Denver 7's Jason Grenauer looks at how that will impact a small southern Colorado town.
What's going on there?
Colorado's cannabis industry could lose some money to our southern neighbor. The governor of New Mexico recently enacted a measure to legalize recreational marijuana in that state. While Colorado has had legalized pot now for years, a lot of dispensaries still heavily rely on tourists. Trinidad in southern Colorado has more than 24 pot shops, with business mainly coming from out-of-state visitors. Denver 7 spoke with the general manager of the Other Place is Greener dispensary in Trinidad.
On the desktop, y'all, so bear with me. Oh, and it paused on me. All right, well, I'll read some bits and pieces of this here article. It says earlier this month, New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed legislation to legalize recreational, in quotes, marijuana in the state. While, in quotes, marijuana and criminal justice reform advocates say it's a huge win, it could mean big losses for dispensaries in Colorado. Since 2014, when recreational, in quotes, marijuana went on sale in the Centennial State, business has boomed for Colorado dispensary owners with more than $10 billion in marijuana sales and billions more reaped in tax revenue.
Told us he's very worried about what New Mexico's new market will mean for ours.
45% came from Texas.
Colorado is going to
20%
you see these
came
numbers
from
that they're talking about.
New Mexico. When New Mexico does go legal, we will literally be cut off at the pass.
Just now,
Raton Pass. They'll have no reason to continue driving through New Mexico.
New Mexico's legislation also allows people to smoke or consume products in public without fear of penalty. Colorado allows for some social consumption, but cities and municipalities can pass ordinances to prohibit it. Evans says those ordinances could make or break the future of cities like Trinidad.
Trinidad has been a boom bust city, and right now we're in a boom. And we need to be doing everything we can to not bust. And that is getting ahead of these other states.
I just want to say
Since recreational pot sales began in 2014, Colorado has brought in billions of dollars in tax revenue, and businesses have sold more than $10 billion in products. New Mexico's legal pot market is expected to launch next year.
My proof of that is the recent ruling
Times
in Colorado that is now public
services
regarding
now were prior to
the
pandemic,
THC
especially on our mental health
products. They're gonna figure out how to cap that.
In terms of,
and there's an
the
article
urgency to be
that
seen
there's
for
an
mental
article in
health
today's
needs.
docket
there's
that
hope.
precedes all
Our
of that.
capacity to endure and transcend is innate.
Anyways, let's get back
and
to
there's
it.
nothing that anyone can do to take it away.
It has also been an economic boost for those in the tourism
There is,
industry. People
in
from
my
around
view,
the country
parity
come to Colorado
with
every year
physical
to
illness.
consume
Bringing
cannabis
down the
products.
stigma
However,
around mental health and
Mexico's
therapy.
legal
Sort of a wake-up call.
marijuana
We're going
market
in depth on
cut
mental
off a
health
huge
issues
line
here in
of revenue
Colorado and checking out some
Colorado
of the
dispensaries
solutions
at
that
the
healthcare
border.
professionals,
Cities like
educators,
Trinidad,
and state
which
leaders are
sits
proposing.
Just north of the border with New Mexico, boasts dozens of dispensaries and has come to rely.
Thanks so much for
border
watching this
model to
360
survive.
in-depth report. I'm
Right
Jason
now,
Grenauer.
about
It's Mental Health Awareness
45%
Month,
of
and there really
customers
hasn't been a
came
better
from
time to
Texas,
examine the issue
20%
than right
came
now.
from New Mexico.
Between the health and economic struggles
45%
brought
of
on by the
y'all, huh?
pandemic
That's
and a
a lot of
contentious
y'all coming
election
from
season,
Texas
it's no wonder that
to buy y'all some weed. Sorry about that sorry about the video. It I guess it started playing on its own finally. Just give me a second here. No, I don't want to become famous. Somebody block this person, block that profile there. I'm already famous on my own. Alrighty, so yeah, when New Mexico does go legal, we will literally be cut off at Raton Pass. They'll have no reason to continue driving through New Mexico to come enjoy the benefits of our recreational, in quotes, marijuana. Michael Evans, the general manager of the Other Place is Greener dispensary. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about. I really don't have anything contrary to say about this article other than more power to New Mexico, more power to all these states legalizing. I mean, of course, that's in its most basic form. And quite frankly, Colorado has had plenty of time to amass all the tax revenue that they can and do all the locking out of POCs that they can. So, Jay, yeah, man, I need a mod for real, man. Whoever this person is that keep hitting me up every time I broadcast, asking me if I want to be famous, buy followers, primes, and viewers. Man, if I was in that business, I guess I would have been more popular a long time ago. I don't know. Shit. Oh my God. It's getting wild out here, but let me take a second. Alrighty. So our next story comes courtesy of, in quotes, marijuana moment, or MJUS, excuse me. So, and of course, this article was published on April 29th. And as you can see here, the headline says Texas House votes to decriminalize, in quotes, marijuana and expand the medical cannabis system. As you can see here, it says the Texas House of Representatives last month on a Thursday approved bills to decriminalize, in quotes, marijuana possession and significantly expand the state's medical cannabis program. Are y'all noticed this? Y'all noticing this? They said marijuana and cannabis in the same sentence. That ought to be a crime, Texas. These are the latest developments to come amid a week that has seen multiple pieces of reform legislation advance in the chamber, including separate measures to reduce penalties for possessing, in quotes, marijuana concentrates, and require the state to study the therapeutic potential of psychedelics like psilocybin and MDMA. The bill to decriminalize possession of up to 1 ounce of cannabis, making the offense a Class C misdemeanor that does not come with the threat of jail time, was approved on second reading in the chamber by a voice vote. The legislation, sponsored by Rep. Aaron Ziner, a Democrat, would also end the threat of being arrested for low-level possession and give people the opportunity to avoid a conviction by providing for deferrals and dismissals. A final vote on third reading is still needed to formally send the bill to the Senate. Let's scroll down here and see what else they got. So on Wednesday, the chamber approved an additional bill that would create a new drug schedule for products containing THC that could carry slightly lower penalties compared to where they are currently classified. But possession of up to 2 ounces of concentrates would still be a Class B misdemeanor that does still carry the threat of jail time. The bill cleared the House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee earlier this month. And here's a quote from Jack Finkel of the Texas Normal. This has been a historic week for cannabis reform. We have a lot to work. We have a lot of work to do to finish this session strong and help as many Texans as possible. My commentary on this is essentially, first of all, it's about time, Texas. Secondly, how about y'all just decriminalize everything, okay? Y'all got so many Californians there. Why don't y'all just decriminalize all the drugs? How about that? And why don't y'all do like Oklahoma did and let about 500 or maybe 2,000 prisoners free all at once? Why don't y'all do that? Because you know y'all holding them there on some lame pretenses, okay? Some of this story, some of this article reminds me of Iowa. Some aspects of this article reminds me of the Iowa cannabis program, which I'll get into at a later date. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk more about that, okay? Shout out to you, Jay, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in. Shout out to all of our viewers. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us. But back to this art. Back to our next story. Actually, is a stinger. Excuse me. I didn't mean to yawn on air, y'all. Excuse me. Excuse me. So our next story comes courtesy of Leafly, and I'm sure y'all seen this floating around in your Facebook feeds about 3 weeks ago, because I seen this this floating in my Facebook feed 3 weeks ago. It says, "Neat idea, can of bumps. Thanks for keeping, in quotes, marijuana illegal." Okay, the Haymaker is, a new cannabis products made waves some weeks ago, and not in a good way. Can of bumps, a snortable powdered cannabis concentrate packaged to look like cocaine, might have caught the eye of a few industry leaders. They tweeted their reactions, pretty much a chorus of "so gross," and by the weekend, we Twitter was piling on. So, let's see, Alice Moon, can someone please write about this snortable cannabis that's being sold in California? Like, what the fuck? It even comes with a mini spoon for easy snorting and a card to break it up. This is gross and not what I want to see in the cannabis industry. Let's see, Zach Harris, you bring out the can of bumps at the party. Me and my friends are gonna laugh at you until you leave. Let's see, here's a quote. "Some people love snorting stuff, and this is a cool idea to get an instant high without carrying a cartridge pen, which runs the risk of a felony. And this stuff is easy to dispose of. If it was economical, I'd buy the shit out of it." Y'all, first of all, I'm just gonna come out and say this. I find this to be pretty hilarious that in the cannabis industry, so many people are appalled by this product, when I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. There are so many of these growers who snort coke, man, and do other drugs. There's so many of these people who are in our industry who are flush with cannabis that they do other drugs. They don't even do cannabis. I've seen it with my own eyes, okay? There's hella growers out there who sitting on hella pounds, and they don't even smoke weed. What's up, KM Ross? What's up with the guy? I see you, man. Yeah, man, these can of bumps, look, I consider these can of bumps to be basically a reflection of what's really going on in the cannabis industry. Let's not fake the funk here. Let's not fight it. Let's just be very honest about the fact that a lot of these growers and dealers, people who deal cannabis, they snort coke. I've seen it with my own eyes. I have my own friends who sold weed for many years doing coke, y'all. It's their preference. They just smoke weed or sell weed that's like drug light to them. You understand? But let me get into a little bit more of this article. So Cannabis is made by THC Living, a licensed California edibles manufacturer whose product line was previously limited to THC-infused lemonade and pain relief topicals. With 600 milligrams of THC per package, THC Living appeared to legally position Cannabis as a concentrate. California law allows up to 1,000 milligrams THC per package. For concentrates, edibles are limited to 100 milligrams THC per package. But then the company in its marketing materials clearly pitched the product to consumers as an edible, and that seems straight up illegal. Here's another quote: "Have a great time with your cannabis with our novel cannabis concentrate. Cannabis are exactly what they sound like. Cannabis concentrate intended to be devoured through the nose, ingested straightforwardly, or added to your number one food." Like I said, y'all, at least the cannabis industry is starting to be more direct about what really goes on in the background. All right? So on to our next article. Yeah, y'all, stop snorting coke, smoke more weed, stop doing all them hard drugs. Yeah, Jay, it's hella redonkulous, but it's real. How do I say? It's the lifting of the veil in our industry. Like I said, a lot of these motherfuckers who are in our industry, who are so-called black market growers and things like that, they preference is meth and cocaine. I've seen it with my own eyes, all right? So on to the next story. Oh, and this next story is courtesy of Denver 7, and it is, as you can see here, the headline says that Colorado family blames high potency, in quotes, marijuana for son's suicide, urges lawmakers to look at the impact of dabbing. Okay, so this is an older article, and since this article came out, like I said earlier in the broadcast, the state has actually voted to cap the THC levels of cannabis products. They just haven't decided what the cap is. Like I said, Colorado is going to be the first state that we see begin to repeal some of its cannabis laws, or basically roll back cannabis legalization in various ways. I mean, if you look up Colorado cannabis, or if you just focus on that for the past 3 years, what you will see is a constant, you will see article after article after article after article of people who don't agree with the cannabis laws there and constantly trying to repeal them or roll them back in various ways. So this is what I'm saying. That's what I mean when I say Colorado is going to be the first state that we see to repeal some of its cannabis laws. But let's get into some of this article here. Well, here, let me play this video for y'all.
And Reverend Bradley Lurk. Barbara O'Brien and Angela Cobian, two of our other directors, are out of town today and could not join us. It is my pleasure today also to introduce to you some of the other speakers who are joining us this morning. We have Veronica Figoli, Executive Director of the DPS Foundation. We have Blake Hammond.
Yeah, so this article, this video, that video is 36 minutes long, so I definitely ain't gonna play the whole thing. But I will get into some of this. I will read y'all some of the article. It says, nearly 9 years ago, after voters legalized recreational, in quotes, marijuana in Colorado, one family is asking lawmakers to look closer at the impacts of high potency, in quotes, marijuana is having on the state. We were a normal family, John Stack said. If this can happen to us, it can happen to anyone. We don't want other parents to go through this hell, his wife, Laura Stack, said, echoing his sentiment. The couple's 19-year-old son, Johnny, took his life on November 20th, 2019. I know that marijuana killed my son, John said. Hey, when I had cancer, just a side note, when I was getting treatment for cancer back in 1999, there was this, one of the nurses said that cannabis killed her son too. He had, I guess her son had sleep apnea, and she was dead set that her son, cannabis use is what killed him. So people still running around talking like that, y'all. So Laura Stack says here, it's the worst day of my life, remembering the call they got from Douglas County Sheriff deputies informing them that their son had committed suicide by jumping off an RTD parking garage. John and Laura believe using high potency, in quotes, marijuana, known as dabbing, carved their son's path to suicide. He was actually brilliant, in quotes, Laura Stack said, noting Johnny's 4.0 grade point average and perfect score on the math portion of the SAT. After their son's death, the Stacks found a video of Johnny dabbing and driving on his phone. Dabbing is slang, y'all know what dabbing is. Y'all not grannies. Y'all know what that means. Dabbing is a slang term for consuming high potency, in quotes, marijuana that is sold in a wax form legally at Colorado marijuana dispensaries. John Stack said his son had become psychotic. The Stacks learned their son was able to get a medical, in quotes, marijuana card shortly after turning 18 and believe that opened the door to him experimenting with dabbing. In quote, and here's a quote from Laura Stack here. I don't think most parents understand this is a different, in quotes, marijuana we're talking about. In quotes, marijuana purchased on the black market illegally decades ago generally had the potency of between 3 to 5% THC. The psychoactive ingredient in marijuana concentrates available in Colorado today can be up to 90% THC. Y'all, this is an example of what I'm talking about. They're going to repeal the law. They're going to roll them back in Colorado, man. They're going to roll them back in various ways, and they're going to whittle it down, and it's going to be things like this, where they repeal them and whittle them down. But hey, more power to you. So our next story comes courtesy of Chicago 5, or 5 Chicago. And as you can see there, the headline says, despite promise, so-called minorities left out of Illinois' billion-dollar cannabis industry. What else is fucking new? Okay? What else is fucking new out there? Says, when adult use cannabis was legalized in Illinois, social equity was promised to right the wrongs made against in so-called minority communities as a result of the war on drugs. But more than a year after the state legalized recreational, in quotes, marijuana, not one new license has been issued for social equity applicants. What do you know, y'all? What do you fucking know? It's the same thing that's going on in LA. The $1 billion industry in Illinois currently consists of 110 dispensaries that had a head start on recreational cannabis because they already had a medical license before the legalization. These dispensaries were granted some of the first recreational licenses in the state. Philip Chandler, 31, of Chicago's Calumet Heights neighborhood, is a social equity applicant and one of the thousands who tried to grab the opportunity to become a cannabis dispensary entrepreneur. Chandler, a former gang member who was arrested on a cannabis offense when he was a teenager, also sees this as an opportunity to give back to his community by providing a good paying job at his business. He says he spent countless hours completing the application with help from mentors and lawyers. He even quit his job to devote his full attention to the application. But May 2020 came and went without a decision from the state. 75 licenses were supposed to be granted by the state, but as of May 2021, there's still no word on when the licenses will be issued. And here's a quote from Mr. Chandler: "Whenever you tell black and brown communities to wait for equality, wait for their chance, it's the equivalent to calling them the N-word," Chandler said. Man, that's exactly that hit the nail right on the head. What's up, Jay the Artist, man? Get your lurk on, buddy. Come in and learn today. Come in and learn. We got about 10 more minutes, and I got about 10 more articles, so clearly we're not gonna get through all the articles, okay, on this docket today. But that last quote there was very powerful. That was very powerful. Locking POCs out of the cannabis industry in general. When we staring down the barrel of billions of tax revenue, and when we go to the dispensary, mostly all I see is POCs. I've been saying this for years. So yeah, to be locked out of the cannabis industry is essentially the equivalent of calling us the N-word. It's the new school N-word. You know how they used to be like ninja, like back 20 years ago they say ninja. Well, now the new way of saying ninja, the clean version of the N-word, is wait for your social equity. Wait for your social equity. And we say, wait for your social equity while the rest of us fucking stack major dollars. Yeah, that's the new N-word. All right, y'all. Here's your stinger. So our next story comes courtesy of the Green Market Report. And as you can see here, it says the pandemic increases moms' cannabis purchases. Of course it did. And I bet it increased dad's cannabis purchases too, dealing with all them damn kids, man. It says a 2020 report by Oasis Intelligence showed that 16% of moms have been inclined to purchase cannabis during the pandemic, which is not surprising given the fact that women have been disproportionately impacted by job loss, homeschooling responsibilities, and combining caregiving with the work from home schedule, despite the encouraging numbers stating that half of all adults in the U.S. have received at least one dose of the vaccine. States like Michigan are providing ample evidence that the pandemic, and therefore pandemic-driven cannabis consumption, is not yet behind us. In fact, a recent National Retail Federation survey predicts that Mother's Day spending will hit a record high of $28.1 billion this year, up $1.4 billion from 2020. On average, consumers plan to spend $16 more than they planned to spend last year when most of the country was in lockdown. Even in a pandemic, the industry was seeing notable growth in cannabis purchases by mothers, and businesses responded in kind, created products specifically geared towards the consumer needs of the mom demographic. Cannabis company Mother & Clone offers a discreet line of sublingual nano sprays that allow customers to consume a small metered dose, then wait an hour or so and then take more if needed. That's nothing new there, y'all. Scroll down here. Autumn Brands co-founder and self-proclaimed canna mom, Autumn Shelton, is a vocal advocate for both her nourishing joint and muscle salve and the benefits of better sleep, reduced inflammation, and less anxiety that so many cannabis products afford to hard-working mothers just like her. And here's a quote. "This has been an incredibly challenging time for us all," Shelton says. "Moms have had additional stress. As a mom, the combination of cannabis and going on a run is the perfect recipe. When I come back from my run, I'm present and am an engaged mom, ready to sit with my kids and do the puzzle." Y'all, this ain't the first time. I swipe. I be swiping and shit, and I ended up talking to a local lady here in this town, and she told me that she started smoking weed during the pandemic as well. So none of this is brand new, or none of this is new to me. And quite frankly, I think it's about time that people start smoking weed instead of doing all this other stuff. What you say, Jay? I bet you alcohol is doing pretty well in this pandemic too. No one's going out to drink. Yeah, man. Last year, when I first started streaming, there were these articles that were coming out that were definitely indicating that that alcohol sales were way up during the pandemic. And I think it explains a lot. It explains why so many people are driving so crazy. So our next story, and it could possibly be our last story for today, is courtesy of the Washington Post. It says the D.C. Council refuses to raise funding cap for United Medical Center, triggering oversight board. I don't know how this got on the docket, because this don't have nothing to do with cannabis. So let's skip that. So our next story has to do with actual growing and cultivation. This is a Flushing trial. Whew, y'all. So RX Technologies evaluated the effects of different flushing times on a chemical profile of flavor and smoking characteristics in cannabis flowers. Flushing periods of 14, 10 to 7, and 0 days were imposed on cherry diesel. No differences were detected between flush treatments for yield, potency, or terpenes. Analysis of mineral content of leaves indicated small changes in content of iron and zinc. Taste test panelists tended to prefer flower flushed for 0 days. Y'all, this article, I believe, you cannot tell me that they're lying. This is a bold-faced lie. This bottom bullet point here, taste test panelists tended to prefer flower flushed for 0 days. Somebody help me. These people are lying. And they're trying to sell some kind of product or something. Hey, so y'all let me know out there. Y'all like y'all weed not flushed at all? Let me know. Shout out to Spring Farms, by the way, man. I know y'all over there flushing y'all's weed. So shout out to y'all. Let's go down here. The flower weight, THC, and terpene content of cured flowers were determined for each flushing period. The data was analyzed statistically to determine whether the numerical differences in the data were due to the treatment. Overall, there were no significant differences between treatments for flower weight, THC, or terpene content. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this. And this is a throwback from my grower days. You gotta be pretty. Your palate has got to be pretty damn. And no pun intended. Your palate has got to be pretty damn green to prefer your cannabis unflushed. It is a known fact. It is a basic, very basic fact in the cannabis community that you need to flush at least for 7 days, okay? Now there are fast methods of flushing, like running water through the medium until it becomes clear. There's other ways as well, like to saturate the water or saturate the medium, and then let the plant. It is a sales pitch, my guy. I don't know what they're trying to sell, though. I really don't. I don't know what the hell they're trying to sell. And now they're going into the mineral content. They saying that nothing's changed there either. These people are lying, man. They flat out lying to y'all, just like them people lying to the so-called POC community in Chicago and all these other cities, talking about they gonna hit us with some social equity and shit. And anybody out there got some social equity? I think I met one person over the past 3-4 years since I heard the word equity, social equity. Yeah, they trying to sell more nutrients for sure, man, for sure. I've only met one social equity recipient over the past 3-4 years. Okay, I just want to put that out there. And whoever is running around pitching this article as they said they tested the quality, and right here it says taste test panelists rated the ash color and smoke quality of each sample. Ash color was predominantly black or gray. Smoothness of the smoke increased with decreasing flushing time. Yo, they're lying. Have you ever smoked weed that's never been flushed? Because I'm gonna tell you, when I grew weed, sometimes when I first started out, I wouldn't flush my best, and that shit was nasty. It tastes like a paper bag. It tastes like I was smoking a paper bag. Okay. Yeah. Let me go ahead and yeah, y'all. Well, I smoked it on purpose, man. When I first started growing back in the late 90s, man, I was a piss poor grower. And I'm not afraid to admit that either. Okay. And so one time I even smoked botrytis. I had some weed in my closet. I don't know how it got all moldy, and I fucking poisoned myself by smoking botrytis. I feel embarrassed admitting all this to y'all, but shit, it's been 20 years, so hell yeah, the lesson is learned, my guy. Lesson is learned all the way. Hey, after you get a real bad respiratory infection, I got a respiratory infection so bad, man. It took me a long time to get over it. I thought I had got a bad cold, and then one day it dawned on me, like, dude, you flat out smoke fucking mold. Let's see what you got here. Maybe I did too. What were the side effects when you poison yourself with botrytis? Well, the side effects where I got a really bad respiratory infection, and it lasted for a long time, and it was really deep in my lungs. It took me a while to get over it. Luckily, at the time, I rode my bike every day, so that constant workout on my respiratory system, I believe, was one of the reasons why it was able to subside. Shout out to the folks who ended up buying some of that moldy ass weed. I'm sorry. I'll be forever sorry for that, for selling y'all that lame ass weed. Yeah, I'm admitting that on openly on camera that when I was younger, I sold that lame ass weed to somebody. And I'm sorry for that. I honestly think about that. There ain't a lot of time that goes by that I don't think about that shit. Jay, what you talking about? You think you smoked some botrytis? I mean, honestly, if you on the West Coast, if you were like on the actual coast, and if you're in areas like Humboldt or real damp areas, there's a likely chance that you have smoked botrytis, okay? I just want to put that out there. I mean, of course, now they say that they're testing for botrytis and things like that, but it's in the air. A lot of the wild plants there, or the plants that grow naturally there, they have botrytis growing on them. And if you don't believe me, look around. And there's a lot of outdoor growing going on. You think, I think I might have, but I didn't get any respiratory stuff. I just didn't feel great. It wasn't really good weed. Maybe where is old weed or something. Maybe it was old weed. Maybe it was. Speaking of old weed, CBG and Delta 8, yeah, are becoming all the hype. And CBG is basically CBG is basically weed that has been sitting in your house for months and months. Like if you found some old ass weed in your house and you smoked it, that you smoked CBG. And in places like Iowa and some of these other places, that's all that is available to patients legally. And in places like Iowa, you definitely can't, the flowers aren't a part of the medical program. But like I said, I'm going to get into all of that here real soon, so stay tuned, okay? So I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in today. I want to give a shout out to KM Ross for rocking with the guy. I know my shit's all I know today what's up. Let me know if it's working for y'all. If it's but yeah, I'm dropping frames, but I'll still be here for y'all. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna refresh my browser and check my Twitch, see if it's working. What it looks like on y'all's side. On y'all's end. It sounds great, but Brent, I listen only to use audio only in the car. Well, yeah, guy, I feel you on that. Shit. However you get it in, man. You dig? Shout out to all y'all for tuning in today. Shout out to everybody. I'll hit y'all up next week with a fresh docket. Of course, my old docket. This docket is old, but I had to share it with y'all after everything. It's been a minute since I did Cannabis News. And I want to give a shout out to the guy Jay Blue Tape for tuning for sitting in for me while I handle my matters with the family and everything else. Jay, man, you know I love you, man. I'll be back on Friday at 4:20 Central for Freeform Friday with my dude Alan Murdoch from Murdoch Media. So just a little side note about that. Alan Murdoch and I have been working together for almost 4 years now, and he's mostly in the background. So this is one of those rare occasions, once a year occasions, that y'all get to see Alan on camera and see he and I interacting on camera. A lot of the story, like he co-wrote Cannabis News 2020, Cannabis News #1 2020, the one that y'all all seem to love so much. He wrote the Colorado and the unhoused cannabis taxes story. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Also, the Friday after next, I'll be airing a pre-recorded interview with Mike Marshall. Y'all remember I never got the chance to follow through with that Mike Marshall interview. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, Mike Marshall to do. I got 5 on it, y'all motherfuckers. I know y'all stoner motherfuckers that heard that shit. They play that shit at the dispensary all the time, man. They got to play that at every stoner party, you dig? Anyways, y'all. Yeah. So now that everybody done finally came in the room, I'm going to say it again, man. Be sure to tune in on Friday at 4:20 Central for Freeform Friday with my dude Alan Murdoch from Murdoch Media. Alan and I have been working together for about 4 years now. And Alan has been very instrumental in helping me turn the corner from just doing run-of-the-mill stoner content to actually demonstrating my journalistic skills. I might stream tomorrow for some Freeform or some Green Scene, but most likely I'll be back on Friday because I got a lot of gardening and stuff to do and other things to take care of. Who else out there been dealing with the California Employment Development Department? I know. What else is new, huh? What else is new? Shout out to you, Jay, again. Shout out to you always. Shout out to KM Ross, man. I see you out there lurking. Shout out to Jay the artist, man. I see you out there lurking. Who else is out there? Who else is out there lurking, man? Who else we got on deck? Yeah, y'all need to make sure y'all flush y'all weed, man. Don't be out here selling weed unflushed, and definitely don't be selling weed that's got mold on it. If you want to sell weed that got mold on it, smoke that yourself, okay, and sell the good shit. I mean, I wouldn't suggest you smoke weed with botrytis on it, period, anyways. It could very well kill you. It almost killed me, man. Luckily, you know, like I said, I used to ride my bike every day, so that I believe that's what saved my ass. Anyways, y'all, I'll see y'all next time, okay? Peace.
Stay tuned.